Hello everybody, welcome back to Robot Tech. My name is Scotterson5. Today I have still Smokinace. Somehow he's still here after months and months of torture. He's still on contract. You should have read the fine print. I make that same joke every month. Anyways, welcome. Appreciate your time. We're going to jump into it. If you're new to this podcast, welcome. Each month, me and Smokin' Ace talk about the games we played last month. So, for instance, this month is May. We're going to talk about the games we played in April. And then we usually pick some random topic and talk about that, too. So today, let's, real quick, I know what your answer is, but what games have you played this month? Go!
Othello.
Okay.
The big one would definitely be the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Wow.
Which I waited for.
What?
I know. I know you have no idea that it was coming out. It just sprung on you. But no, that was definitely the biggest one. There were some other games that I played, but Final Fantasy VII Remake was by far and away the one that ate up most of my time, for sure.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah. But yeah, some other games sprinkled in there, the normal. Played some Persona, played some Mario Maker, a few other things, but definitely big heavy hitter, for sure, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah. I think that it would have been better if it was other games, but no. No, it's fine. So yeah, we'll go into that more later, I promise you. I would say my video games I played this month was a lot of frustrating games. It was Worms. As you probably saw, you jumped on that stream.
I did.
But as well as XCOM 2, also frustrating. So yeah, a lot of saltiness that I've played. So
sodium-filled April.
It was not the greatest. I would think that I would not play those games, but it went back and I switched like 3 games that one day because I was like, no. I played some Paladins again. I was glad that I could play that. I was having issues with trying to stream it. I don't know what was going on. Like, I tried to capture it and it didn't work. So, we're going to cut right to it, Smokin' Ace. I know. So, we're kind of wanted to talk about remakes. And we'll touch on mostly, I assume this bulk of the podcast will be Smokin' Ace talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, Smokin' Ace is going to take over the podcast and talk about some Final Fantasy VII. Thanks. See you in 30 minutes. Oh, okay.
Alright, now that he's gone, everyone.
No, so...
Come over to my side.
Right. Come over. No, so what about Final Fantasy VII Remake did you find different than the original? Like, what about it that, made you buy it? Well, first, you're obsessed with Final Fantasy. But besides that, like, if it wasn't for that, like, what kind of dictated you to buy it? Was it, because the game was crummy when they released it? Did they add more story? So tell me the secrets behind remakes.
So, the interesting thing about the Final Fantasy VII Remake is when people have loved Final Fantasy VII for a very long time. If you look up many RPG lists and even top games lists, that's a really difficult word to say, I've noticed now. You're going to see on many of them Final Fantasy VII. It's iconic. It's the first game in the series that jumped from the kind of 2D top-down pixel art Final Fantasy RPGs that everybody was used to, and it jumped into the 3D world. It was now, polygons and all of this 3D technology hammered into this game that, there had been 6 other games before it that were all, kind of your basic because of the hardware limitations. So a lot of people have loved, I don't even want to say cult classic Final Fantasy VII, because it's bigger than that. There's a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that don't like it. But you're going to have that with any video game. So
a lot of comments.
Absolutely. So people have wanted a remake, or I'm sorry, people have wanted a remaster of the game for years. They've wanted, okay, I want Final Fantasy VII updated, and that's it. Don't touch anything else. Don't touch the story, don't touch the mechanics, don't touch the characters, just make it prettier. Make it a more visually pleasing game and clean up some of the other things that didn't work. So they kind of teased a remaster of it, like an HD remaster, and I was looking this up. So
we actually do research once in a while, but it's rare.
Right. But they kind of had a tech demo in 2005 of the opening of Final Fantasy VII with a new engine from Square. And that just blew everybody's minds and made everyone go, all right, you need to remaster this game. We demand it as gamers. We want it. Well, then, as more and more came out, they went, okay, just kidding. It's not going to be a remaster. It's a remake. We're going to remake the game. So a lot of people went, all right, what does that entail? What's the difference? And there have been other games. This part I didn't research, but there have been other games, that they have kind of remade, or a lot of TV shows. Recently they've kind of been rebooting franchises, and they've changed things. They've changed characters, done things differently. So when they announced that this was going to be a remake, it kind of made a lot of Final Fantasy fans nervous. Because you went, okay, you're taking this classic game that we love, and you're changing it. Well, what are you changing? How much of it are you changing? Are you changing everything and just going from square one? Are we even going to be able to recognize this game? So the more and more I heard about it, I kind of was in 2 camps. In one camp, I went, okay, I want to learn everything that I can about this to know, is this going to be a good game or not? And then on the other hand, I went, I want to know nothing about the game, because I just want to go into it and experience it for what it is. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, from the second they announced it, I knew I was going to buy it.
Regardless.
Regardless. But I also knew going into it that I wasn't going to go, okay, I love this game because I love the original, so I'm going to love this game absolutely, hands down, no matter what they do, I'm going to love it. So, again, hear more and more, and one of the biggest reasons that I love Final Fantasy so much is when we got our first PlayStation, we bought it from a friend of my brother. He had a bunch of games with it, and Final Fantasy VII was one of them. And it's one of the first longer games. I couldn't tell you how long it took me the first time I played it to beat it, but it was one of the first longer games that were more than like 8 hours or so that I beat. So I hold it near and dear to my heart, and I played a lot of it. When I played it recently, I think I put like 20 hours into it to beat it. But you can put in some. I didn't get nearly everything. I didn't beat every side mission, side boss, explore every side area. But you can put a lot into that game. So going into Final Fantasy VII, the remake, you have all of these preconceived notions of, okay, I know this game, I know these areas, I know these characters. What are they going to do different? So you get a little leery. Now, somebody who's never played Final Fantasy VII could go into the game and have no bias one way or another, which it would be interesting for someone, say, like you, who doesn't play Final Fantasy. I know you said you haven't beaten one. Have you played any of the Final Fantasies at all? That would be an interesting...
I'm a monster, I know.
You are a monster.
Apparently, to you. Get out. All right, I told you I was gonna leave, but you said you wanted me back, so.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see that somebody who likes the franchise, likes the game, enjoys it, versus somebody who, you're on this side for me, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who has never played them. I just want to make sure my gestures are correct. On my screen, they're flipped, but they. So you want to get into it and see what they changed and see what they've done differently. So the first big thing, they changed the battle system. Final Fantasy, for the longest time, really up until Final Fantasy 15, it had always been turn-based. Now they've kind of done little different things of little different facets of turn-based. Like Final Fantasy 12, you could still run around the area, but it was still turn-based, and you would select your enemy, and you would have to wait for your meter to fill, and you would unleash attack. That's another great game, though, but that's a whole different story. So they changed it to more of an action RPG, where basically, for anybody who doesn't know, it's pretty much, all right, you hit square, you attack. You hit triangle, you attack. You hit circle, it does an action. So it's more one-to-one button presses, whereas turn-based, I make my attack, Scouter makes his attack, the enemy makes their attack, another enemy makes their attack, then I make my attack, and it goes around. And a lot of people don't like that. I love that kind of I love that kind of style. And a lot of people are like, oh, I hate turn-based games. And then I go, well, do you like Pokemon? Yeah, I love Pokemon.
All right, well, there you go.
RPG, and it's all about context. And, just because you like Pokemon doesn't mean you're going to like Final Fantasy. They're two completely different games, but they share similar elements. Just like, you're not going to love every game in one genre. I really like real-time strategy games, but I'm not going to like every single real-time strategy game. Same thing with turn-based RPGs. So they changed that. Another thing is, and something that really concerned a lot of fans, myself included, was they said that this remake was going to be multiple parts. And that is terrifying in some ways, because it went, okay, I'm spending the price of a full game, and I'm only getting... And they haven't... I don't think they've officially announced how many different parts it's going to be. I think everybody just kind of assumed that it was going to be in 3 parts, but it's kind of terrifying and strange to go, okay, the original game, while it was on multiple discs, it's still, you paid one price, you got the full game. Whereas this remake, this first installment, so to speak, it takes place solely in the first city that you're in the original Final Fantasy. So that was another concern that a lot of people had, where you went, how are you going to stretch this section of this game, which I couldn't tell you how long that section normally is in the original, but how are you going to take that small section and make it a 40-plus hour game in and of itself that people are going to want to spend $60 on and pay full price for something where you're not even going to finish that story? And yes, there are a lot of games that do have multiple installments. Absolutely, 100%. Mass Effect, Halo, Wolfenstein. There are tons of games that do have that multi-part approach to them, but they were designed that way. So you kind of go, okay, you're gonna get into the story, and I don't want to talk too much about it because it is still
too late.
A very new game. I meant story-wise. I don't want to say how it ends and how it does it wraps up and everything. But I think they did a pretty decent job. There weren't a lot of times where I went, oh man, this is really dragging. I wish they would just move on. Let's get out of the city and be done with it. They did a pretty good job of breaking things up and getting you more invested, and it also helped you to kind of feel for these characters and grow with these characters Even though, yeah, you still have two or more other parts of this game that you're waiting on, when I know how a lot of these characters' story goes. I know what situations they are in, and there's some parts of the original game that I'm really excited to see redone in this remake format, but they also kind of opened it up where they could change things. The story isn't okay, they took Final Fantasy VII script and they just moved it right over into the Final Fantasy VII remake. So it raised kind of a lot of questions, where if you've never played the original, there's a lot of things that you're going to go, what? Yeah, exactly. And
that's why Bioshock Infinite is great. Sorry.
And along with that, there's a lot of things that even as a fan of the original game, I went, what? So they did a good job where like I said, you don't just go, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen. I've played this game before. I'm going to go X, Y, Z, and X, Y, Z is going to happen. I'm going to go over to here, here, and here, and then, well, I already knew it was going to happen.
Right.
So, in those regards, they did well, in my opinion. I definitely have some flaws in the game. I personally really didn't like the battle system. The more I used
Wait,
it...
Smokinace doesn't like a Final Fantasy game? What? Who are you? Do I got the right person on?
I never said I didn't like the game overall. But it's the more I played... Yeah, no, I get it. The more I played with the battle system, the more I dove into the mechanics of it. I did enjoy it a little bit more. I did have more fun with it. I personally wish that it was back to the turn-based, and they kind of did something. They announced that there was going to be a classic battle mode that you could do classic, easy, and normal. And then once you beat the game, you unlock hard mode. And I only played the classic game mode or battle system in the demo. So I don't know if they changed it at all before the final release, but it really didn't seem that much different to me. It definitely wasn't, all right, you line up on one side, enemies line up on the other side, we attack, they attack, we attack, they attack, which is what I thought they were going to do with this classic battle system. But overall, I'm excited to move forward with it. I'm excited to play more of the game. The game left me wanting more, which I feel any game that is going to have multiple parts should do.
Right.
I can think way back to... Did you ever play the original Assassin's Creed?
Nope.
I got to the end of that game, and I was physically angry because of where they ended it.
Right.
And I was physically angry because I knew I was going to have to wait X amount of time until I was going to get to play more into that story. But at the same time, it was a really good way to end it, because you go, oh, wow, this happened. I know it. I remember exactly what happened, how it kind of ended, and then it stuck with me. That's how, powerful the end of that game was. Not a whole lot happened, but enough happened where you go, hang on, and I wanted to move on. Kind of the same thing with this one. I hope that the development for the next part goes much quicker than the first one, because looking at my little bit of research here, the game Final Fantasy VII Remake entered full production in 2015. Late 2015, it says. So, and it didn't come out until April of this year. So, 5 years of development.
Mm-hmm.
I sure hope it doesn't take another
4 years.
5 years to get part 2.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and the game's director and other people I've seen little bits and pieces from both sides where some of the team wants to do smaller chunks of the game and release them sooner, while the other side goes, no, 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 we got to make sure we get, a good healthy chunk of it. So I'm not sure where they're going to go. I don't know if they're going to make, because with this one I think I beat the game. I should have looked this up, but I think I beat it in like 45 hours or something like that. So, is the next one going to be a 20-hour game? Because they want to get it out faster and get it into the hands of the consumers. Yeah. Or are they going to spend the same amount of time and give us another 40, 50, 60 plus hour game? I don't have those answers, unfortunately. But going into playing this game, I was cautiously optimistic. I say that a lot. I guarantee I've said that before on this podcast. I think one of the original podcasts we did, you asked me about the remake, and I said, I'm cautiously optimistic. Because they're changing a lot, but they're keeping a lot the same. So what's going to happen? Ooh, scary times.
Ooh.
See that reaction right there. But leaving this game, I'm more optimistic for the next one. They did a good job comforting me to the point where I go, okay, they're going to stay true enough to a lot of this story, true enough to this world, that I don't need to worry about how, what direction they're going to go. I could go on for hours about...
Too late.
They might go...
Sorry, last drop.
No, you're good. You're good. Nobody wants to hear my voice just constantly.
No, it's fine.
I could go into hours into, they might go this route, or, this character they're going to do this with, or, this character they're going to do that with, but, I'm not going to sit here and speculate. There are a couple of things that I kind of want to say on record on this podcast, so that way if they do happen, I can go, ha-ha. But at the same time, the game's new. Maybe I'll save that for a few podcasts from now, if you're still putting up with me and if you still keep me around.
I mean, this is usually the other way around, but okay.
But like I said, the game is new enough that I don't want to say some of the ideas that I have that would be spoilers for even this one, because it is so close. And probably a lot of people watching this, if they are Final Fantasy fans, have probably played it, but maybe they haven't beaten it yet, or other people who haven't gotten into the game but wanted to, so yeah, I don't want to go off and speculate and ruin some things for some people just for the sake of being correct, at a later date. So maybe later. Future down the line I'll make some predictions.
Just write it down and then,
yeah,
put it up.
But yeah, just to wrap up on it, they did some really interesting things that made some of the characters a little more exciting, and it'll be interesting to see, like I said, where they go with those characters, because before, some of the characters, you barely heard anything about them, and then that was it. You didn't do much else. And they've just talked about more of these characters and introduced new ones. That's another thing too, is they have many of the same characters that you remember from the original, but they also added these new characters, and that's another good thing, because you go, okay, so who are they going to add in the later installments of it? Who are they going to add further down the line? And are they going to be interesting, or are they just going to be kind of, well, you could have used, you could have done without that. You didn't need to have them in. But yeah, no, I was, like I said, cautiously optimistic going into it. I'm excited about the future of that game, and I hope that they look more into some other ones, where depending on how long we go with this podcast, maybe we'll get into that in a little bit. But it definitely made me excited and want some other games remade or remastered, either one. Like I said, depending on how much time we have left, maybe we can get into those games in a little bit. But
why not?
But yeah, I enjoyed it. To anybody is interested in it, check it out. And if you don't think you like Final Fantasy, but you like action RPGs, go ahead and give it a shot, because it is definitely more action RPG than it is your turn-based RPG, for sure. So,
yeah, I keep recommending you Pillars of Eternity and Divinity Original Sin.
I do need to get on those. I know that I would for sure like Divinity.
Probably love at least Divinity. I don't know about Pillars, but
yeah, that one maybe. I haven't looked too much about it, but I get emails all the time because Steam's like, oh, Divinity Original Sin is on sale.
I even liked it.
I should go get it because I do like those kind of games. So
yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, so basically, what you're saying is that it was worth your money. I mean, you purchased this hoping for, your money's worth, and it sounds like you did. And I feel like that's the same thing with any. I mean, I was seeing all these remasters of, Resident Evil 4, which is my number 2 favorite game, and I'm like, what are they gonna do? It was great. It was just a great game. I played a long time with that game, and I don't, as you said, it's like, what are you gonna do with it? Make it look prettier? I mean, it was, in my opinion, really gorgeous for a GameCube game. Yeah. Like, I was like, wow, they really pushed this game on the GameCube, didn't they? Like, and it was in 4 discs. I remember, I still have it. So I don't know. I'll have to see it. What, even Stanley Parable, when I saw the trailer, I was like, alright, so what, they're gonna remaster it and put it on, they're just putting it on consoles, and on them they're like, oh, we'll add levels. I'm like, yes, I will. So, I get your point that, like, those, you'd have to sell those people who, already played the game enough to sell it to them again. And, obviously for, like, the Stanley Parable, let's say they only did, the game remastered, I would probably not buy it, because it's like, I already not technically beat the game, but, what I'm saying is that, they'd have to have something in order to attract gamers, especially those who've played it already. I think we asked, I keep asking you, what Final Fantasy do you want me to start with? Because I never played any. Stuff like that. So, I think as much as I love this, like, I really want to, I guess we could talk about what other games you want remastered. I mean, is it worth it? I mean, I just feel like I said, I guess it sounds like, for the most part, for you, for me, I haven't bought any remastered games, so, I guess I'm not too much of a particular aspect of what a remake game would look like, but, I don't know. I guess if it's like a game that never even worked either, like, I could see, like, remastered because it didn't work. Like, it was glitchy, or the game wouldn't load, this level, no one beat it, because, like, I think that was with one of the Resident Evil, like, the newest one that they released for Resident Evil, that, like, no one, like, everyone bought it because, basically, that nobody beat it, and so everyone's, like, wanting to play it, so, like, that makes sense, but, so what games would you want remade?
So, I understand exactly where you're coming from with the, like, Stanley Parable saying. So, definitely, I don't work in game development. I'm not part of any game studio, so I don't know exactly how those planning meetings go and everything. But you have the idea where you go, okay, we want to take the same game and we just want to make it updated. We want to just polish it, smooth out the edges, all that stuff, and we don't want to change a single thing at all. And, people who have already played that game are probably not going to buy it. Because like you said, you've already beaten the Stanley Parable. So if you just produce the Stanley Parable again, but it's a little bit shinier, now it's in 4K, that's not going to entice you that much. No matter how much you like the game, you're still getting the same game.
Yeah.
But
secretly, I probably might buy it still.
Well, okay, bad example.
No, I'm joking. I probably know you're right.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. Because I'm a sucker.
No, you found something that you enjoy and you want to support it.
No, that's part of the trailer. That's part of the trailer that says people are going to buy it again because they're suckers. I was like, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I am.
But that's also where you get into the remake territory. I would have been perfectly happy if they gave me Final Fantasy VII again, but now instead of polygon kind of blocky characters, you gave me lifelike characters, but everything else was the same. I would have been happy with that. But instead they gave us this basically whole new game that you can play, and you never got to play in a lot of these areas because they didn't exist in the original. They just expanded. But a good example of a game that I want remade, and it's a game that I've definitely never talked about before or anything, but Metal Gear Solid.
Oh. I was going to say Mega Man.
Metal Gear Solid. I definitely don't... I don't enjoy this game at all. But that's a game where in one of my events, in the last year that you were a part of, I played Metal Gear Solid again. All the way through for the first time in a long time. I had played some of it, but that game, it's difficult. It's hard because we've become so accustomed to all these mechanics that are in newer games, like even in Metal Gear Solid 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, we now have the ability to go into first-person mode and aim. Whereas in the original, you couldn't do that. You could go into first person just to look around, but you couldn't aim and shoot a guard or shoot a camera or anything. So, for a remaster of the original Metal Gear Solid, because I wouldn't want them to touch the story at all. I wouldn't want them to change that. That's my favorite game series of all time. And with as convoluted as the story is, you couldn't change that one without changing every single other one, because they all intertwine so much. But I would love to see the original remastered to where now it has the mechanics of the newer games, so you just get that quality of life. They kind of already did that with Metal Gear Solid, and the only time that I ever borrowed a GameCube was to play that game. They made Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, and it was the original game, but it had more modern controls to it, and a little bit better or it had much better graphics. It had better graphics, better controls, and everything like that. So they kind of already did that, but I want that even now. I don't remember when that one came out, but it was on the GameCube, so obviously it was around that time. Let me just look that up really quick. But I would love to see that game remastered, so that way I can replay that game, because in my stream it took me 16 hours to beat it. I was thinking it was going to take me like 4 or 5, because I'm like, oh, I know this game, I remember this game, I played this game a lot, I've beaten this game so many times in my life, and then I realized this game is difficult at times, yeah. Especially if you haven't played it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Now if I got back to it, okay, the Twin Snakes came out in 2004, and the original Metal Gear Solid came out in, I want to say, I'm not even going to guess because I'm going to, in 98. So it was only 6 years later, but they changed a lot of it to make it more user-friendly and everything. So that's a big one that I would love to see remade, remastered, clean it up, improve quality of life, all of that. And there's been some other remasters recently, like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, and those games that I've wanted to play. I played them over at my friends, but I never beat any of them, and I would love to get into those. So those are, again, the perfect example of that that one-to-one remaster, like you were talking about, where if you already beat them, you might get them to get that nostalgia vibe, or maybe it's a little bit more smooth or something like that. But for someone like me, where I've played a bunch of the Crash Bandicoot games, but I never sat down and beat them from start to finish. So for me, you know, I'm not getting that, oh man, do I really want to buy the same game again? I'm getting games that I have never played from start to finish, and it helps out in that way. But yeah, so Metal Gear Solid, I'm rambling as I always do, as you know we do.
It's fine.
I
was surprised you mostly talked about Final Fantasy for only 20 minutes. I mean,
that's it.
That's it.
All right. So Final Fantasy VII.
All right.
Let me kick your feet up, take a nap, get your pillow.
We're
but another one that I would love to see remastered is Time Crisis. I'm sorry, Time Crisis. Time Crisis is a great game. Don't get me wrong. That game is an awesome game in the arcades. Time Splitters, which I had actually played on a stream months ago, and I do want to play more of it because I found a copy of it that I can stream. But I would love to see Time Splitters remastered, or I want to see the sequel, another sequel that they've talked about and they've teased for a year and a half now. I think a trailer came out for it like 2 years ago or something, but you didn't really hear anything else about it. So I feel like there was another one that I was thinking, but yeah, I would absolutely love to see Metal Gear Solid remastered and Time Splitters. There was one more. Anyway, what is a game? So I know you said you haven't really bought any remasters.
So I say that, like, I'm looking through my wish list now. So it's funny because, like, I was referencing Resident Evil 2. I think a lot of people bought that game because they weren't able to finish it, or the game wasn't complete.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I believe. Don't quote me. Don't take this podcast any seriously.
Quote it.
Quote it. BioShock 1 and 2 is on my wish list as well, which I assume when they say it's remastered, I assume it's because it was never released on the PC. If I'm right on that.
And probably clean. I know that
Make
they
it cleaner,
are releasing
yeah.
them also on the Switch as well. I remember seeing that.
I mean, so I would say probably anything kids games that I played, like maybe. So I mean, not that it's not on here, but like I played Freddy the Fish, the Stolen Conch Shell. I mean, that's on Steam. I might play that. I might just pick that up to just play it again, because I remember playing those puzzle games and they were hard. They were hard. Like I couldn't figure it out, and I finally beat it. I was like, thank God. But I guess to really put it on what game I would want remastered is probably Roller Coaster Tycoon. I mean, technically it is. I mean, how do you remaster that, though? I mean, I guess make the graphics look better and make the game not... I mean, I'll be honest, it is a little broken game, but it's kind of fun. I mean, it's not too like, for instance, the AI in that game is not... I mean, I'll give them credit to name, even regardless of the name for each park resident.
Oh, yeah.
Park resident 1, 2, 3, or whatever. But that's still pretty cool. Like the what bothers me is the AI for like the lawnmower guy. He just like he does have a good way to mow the grass, but like if he's stuck somewhere, you will never get him out of, like he is gone forever. And
that's why they added the pinch.
Yeah, you pick him up and move him, but that's
and then he walks back to the exact same area.
Yeah, so I guess I could see, some tuning up with that. I mean, as much as a game, I love it, but, it's a game that was 2000 and it still works on my PC now, so, and I still have the original disc, and I could put it in, it'll still work, and you can't say that anything else with any other game. Backyard soccer, backyard baseball. I mean, again, I have the original CDs and they still work. But I would love. I actually tweeted to I think it's HM. What is it? Is it H something? Humulus Entertainment, I think. Right?
Humongous
Entertainment, yes. HE. I tweeted to them saying, please, for the love of... please just put Backyard Series on Steam or sell them, and I still have, I guess, like, CDs that I have. Like, look at this. This is all games that I've had over the... I mean, I'm not kidding you, that I just still have around. That's just one of them. Here's another stack.
What are those things?
Right.
Are those coasters?
Right.
Are they...
See, there's Math Muncher. Like, I always love going through this and seeing... I just love to find some of these to be like, wow, this is a pirated copy. You didn't see that. I mean, it's on YouTube now, but...
Delete this podcast now. I want no part to do with it.
I mean, we also had these, remember these, and cereal boxes?
Yep. Speaking of cereal boxes and remasters, the game that I've wanted remastered for a while is Chex Quest. And you know what released just a few days ago on Steam for free?
Oh.
Chex Quest HD.
Oh, man.
Right? I'm so excited. I haven't played it yet, but I'm stupidly excited for that game.
I mean...
It's fun. It's just stupid fun.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm lucky, I sometimes could, like, you can make some of these CDs work. I mean, you just have to go in the folder and know what you're doing, like, clicking on, Need for... Like, I have another one, Need for Speed 3, also not pirated. But you go in the game.
That is what the original CD looked like, I remember.
Right, clearly. Like, you would have to go in the game file and go needforspeed.exe or, make sure you launch the file. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But
by the file, you mean a time machine.
Right. So you just, I don't know. Some of these games I would love just for, like, Doom, too. I played Doom as a kid, and I'm somehow not insane. Believe it or not.
You're not?
Yeah. Kids Picks. Kids Picks? Remember Kid Picks?
I do remember Kids Picks.
Sorry, I'm done. But yeah, I mean...
No, this is entertaining. This is bringing back a lot of
I know. See, this is why I have these, because it's so cool. I mean, again, it's I would love to see these, like, 90s, 2000 games that there's probably... I just listed off a few that I'm going through, but...
Yeah.
If, I'd love to see those, to just, and good old, I will recommend Good Old Games, because they've done an amazing job on that.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
While I think about it and while I remember, because you mentioned Good Old Games, because I got this game on there, the other game that I was thinking of was Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. That game, I loved that game. Originally, it was on the N64, and I remember playing that a ton. Really fun game. I actually got it on GOG, and that's what made it pop into my head again.
You're welcome.
And I've tried to thank you. And I've tried to play it on Steam, and it's tough.
Yeah.
It's so sensitive.
Yeah.
Like the second level, you have to drive the speeder bike, which is already tough in this city, but I just kept smacking into things everywhere. Same with the original Star Wars Rebel Assault games. Those were really fun. I would love to see those remastered and moving forward. But really quick, while I'm also thinking about it, going back to Roller Coaster Tycoon, this is a perfect question, I think, for you.
Go.
So would you want a remaster of it where it's the same game, same perspective, same everything, but yeah, it's tweaked a little bit better, AI's improved, all of that, or would you want a little bit more along the lines of a remake to the point where it's more like, say, Planet Coaster, where you can get a little more into it? Like that, I think is a good example of Final Fantasy VII. Just take the original game and make it shiny again, or what they've done and they've made it a whole new game.
I mean, I think Roller Coaster Tycoon, for instance, there's a lot to do in the game. I think adding more to it, like literally, I could throw that game in the background and I would recommend it with this podcast. And just you can't not just look around and do stuff in the game because you're always adding plants. I feel like that game, it is a very long game to get a scenario done. It takes sometimes it takes hours and it's just irritating. But I guess just to have it, make it look a little bit better. I mean, again, it is an old game that I think, if they make it look pretty, I think that'd be fine. I mean, see, here's the original Quake. Sorry, I just put that. Anyways, but I would say, I have, they did the expansion pack that I had with Roller Coaster Tycoon was amazing, in my opinion.
I agree.
They, as much as it's simple as adding colors, and you could add colors to the balloons, it's yes. So I think for instance, I would I kind of like Roller Coaster Tycoon as it is. It's I like how Parkitect, for instance, I think I mention this a lot all the time. If you want a simple, easy, I'm just want to just play a roller coaster game, get Parkitect. If you want a detail-oriented game, get Roller Coaster Planet Coaster. If you want to spend hours and hours just making this roller coaster look cool, Planet Coaster. If you just want to throw a little coaster, just a relaxed game, it's not dropping frames when you're streaming it, Parkitect. So I think in my opinion, keeping Roller Coaster Tycoon as it is, I mean, yeah, if they add some cool, more DLC of whatever, water park central or something, you could add a pool or something that the park people could swim in, like they did with Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, stuff like that. But then that defeats the purpose of Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, because you could build a park, you could put animals in it, you could also build a water park, and I really need to get into that one too. It's been a while. So yeah, to answer your question, sorry, it's a long, drawn out answer, but
that's why I wanted to ask it, because I knew because it gets your brain thinking in kind of the way that I thought about Final Fantasy VII, where it all depends on what you want out of that game. Like you said, sometimes the AI in the original is just wacky and it's just weird, and okay, well, if you delete a section of path, how many of your park goers can't walk one tile over to find that path and they end up in the corner?
Or they end up in the river and they drown.
End up in the river.
I mean, I've never done that, but
no, of course
I know
not.
somebody who has. But
not.
because I never mess up in that game.
and you've never launched the shuttle loop.
Yeah.
Ever,
and exploded, killed. Oh no, there it goes. Killed hundreds of park guests. No, never.
But yeah, no. That's why I wanted to ask the question, is because it does beg that question of, we love a lot of games because of maybe nostalgia or something along those lines, where you go back and you try to play it again and you go, this game isn't great. This game isn't great.
I played this.
Yeah. I put how many hours
right.
into this? Which is kind of what I was nervous about when I played the original Metal Gear Solid again, is I went, oh man, I've played Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, these other newer Metal Gear games, and I went, oh, is this original one going to hold up? And I still loved it. Even though I got to some sections and, like, the stupid Hind D fight, oh, that one made me so mad. But I beat it, and I got that same sense of accomplishment that I did years ago, and it held up in my opinion. Yeah, it controls a little weird or controls a little wonky, and some of the voice acting isn't the greatest, but I still love it. Whereas, yeah, there are definitely other games where you try to go back and play and you go, how did I ever beat this game? This is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the territory that you get into when you do talk about remasters and remakes and polishing games and stuff like that, and re-releases and reboots.
Re.
Yeah, a lot of re's. All the re's.
Yeah.
Have I mentioned I just love playing video games?
No, I mean, I think you just love playing Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy.
I do love me some Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to praise Good Old Games because, like I said, they just. When I found out about this, originally found out about Good Old Games, I'm like, where has this been? Why haven't I knew this sooner? I bought plenty of games that SimCity 3000. I mean, that game. I mean, now that I'm an adult and I know what I'm doing in that game, whereas as a kid I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna load the save of whatever and destroy it. And now it's like, I'm gonna build a city, and oh yeah, I gotta raise taxes. Oh yeah, I gotta lower it because people are rioting. I gotta, good old games. Recommend 100% to check them out if you don't know about them, because there's a lot of cool games that are on, and Empire Earth that I've stuff like that. Just anyways, this has gone on long enough. I blame you as usual. No, it's really cool to learn about some of this, and appreciate your time again. I know. Again, you could be playing more Final Fantasy VII, so I appreciate this. And, we'll see. Maybe we'll see next month. We might have another special guest as well. But maybe. We'll see.
Exciting.
His schedule and how's that going to work. But, yeah, thanks. Again, check out Smokinace. He streams all the time. Not recently, so you should get on that.
I know. I've had a few small streams here and there, but
that's fine. I'm just joking. I haven't this week, anyways. And then I'm gonna play Final Fantasy. I'm not gonna play Final Fantasy. You're like, yes, I got him. Got me another one, boys.
I got so excited there.
Sorry.
I
Dark
don't know
Souls
if I
3
reacted or not, but
I didn't even see
my
your
heart
reaction.
started racing a little bit. I got real excited there. Don't mess with me like that.
I'll play Final Fantasy 7. I'll play Final Fantasy if you play Stanley Parable again, but
oh, that's easy enough.
Nah.
Done. I'll start playing it right now.
Nah, done. But no, it's a lot of fun, and check out Smokinace. I'll be streaming Dark Souls 3 for 8 hours sometime soon as well.
Nice. For the kids. Remember, it's for the kids.
Is it going to be really entertaining? I mean,
yes,
I feel like a lot of deaths are going to happen, so it's going to be fun.
I'm a kid, and I'm going to be entertained by it.
I hope so. But
just go into it knowing, like you said, that you're going to die a lot.
Oh.
One of my friends...
I'm going to have a death counter.
Do it.
I will.
Please do.
It's going to be a lot. We should do a high-low. See whoever's get the closest. That'd be cool.
Ooh, I like it. For an Extra Life donation?
Oh, maybe. I don't have money now.
Fair enough. Hey, you know what? Maybe put that in for some other people or say, hey, you know, I think I'm going to have this many deaths. You can either go high or low. If you get it right, you don't have to donate. If you get it wrong, you have to donate to Scouter's
even better.
Extra Life page. That's a good incentive. But yeah, just go into it. Remember, one of my friends is really good at Dark Souls. He used to
Stab
it a lot.
Stab
actually,
is
no.
good.
And I know Stab is, but in your last Dark Souls, Enraged Bagel, I know he jumped in and kind of helped you some. He speed runs Dark Souls. He hasn't for a little while, but he speed runs it. He dies. He even dies in that game. So
I don't think Stab ever dies. I never.
I think you're right. I think Stab Stream. I don't think he has ever died in a Dark Souls.
I don't know how he does it. Literally, I'm not even to bosses. I'm just like trying to go somewhere and die.
Just remember, every game mostly can be beaten.
Yeah, eventually. Well, thanks. Thanks for this conversation. Again, check out Smokinace. Does a lot of cool stuff for the kids as well. Looking forward to that, and I'll see you guys next month. Maybe so. It may be the Zach Fierce again. He's the creator of Bombfest. Might get him on here, but we'll see. We'll see how that works. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You know, everybody's got different schedules and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. As always, thanks for having me on. You know, I can always talk about Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But I can always talk about games. So I am a little disappointed in myself that I didn't hit my target of 3 hours talking about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, no, we're only in an hour, but
I figured I'd spare everyone a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Me ramble on.
Again, I appreciate it, like, because I don't know remastered, so hopefully this will help you out to figure out what you think of a remastered. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear it. Love to hear your comments about what you think of remasters. And
let us know if you played Final Fantasy or any other remastered.
Mostly just Smokinace. Let's be honest with you.
But yeah, also let us know what games you want remastered. What are your top 3 games that you would love to see redone in 2020 or 2021 or something like that with a fresh coat of paint on it, and let us know those games that you would play and put the same amount of hours that you did originally into if they re-brought them out.
Yeah, love to hear it. Comment below. Okay.
Everyone does this, right?
Yeah, comment below.
Right?
All right. Well, thanks.
It's a blink tray.
Appreciate your time. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Love you.